Gail, I think there are two things that kind of hold people back when they're looking at an ADHD diagnosis. The first being this outdated stereotype of a young boy bouncing around the classroom. And I think people see that and think, well, that's not me. And the second is that there's no blood test to tell you if you have ADHD or not.
Absolutely. And then people get confused. What should they do? So at ADHD Online, our assessment is very comprehensive. Some folks might even say it's rigorous. It's an assessment that takes a good amount of time because when we're looking at a diagnosis or excluding a diagnosis, we must have all that information. So oftentimes people have been depressed for years and taken depression medication and never really felt better. Once if they get the ADHD diagnosis through the assessment and are properly treated, their whole life opens up. So our assessments really lead to that diagnosis, which can really lead to a treatment plan that's effective.
And one of the things that we know about ADHD is that it ebbs and flows and changes throughout life, which is why it's so important that everyone that comes to ADHD Online takes this rigorous assessment.
Yes, everybody must take the assessment prior to receiving any services. Mostly because they may be currently in treatment, looking for a new provider. They may have a previous diagnosis or no diagnosis. However, they must do that. And once they get our assessment, they can take it to their own provider or use our provider. And that way the provider sees the assessment as well. So it's that continuum of care.
And there's really no way to set up a treatment plan without a proper diagnosis.
That's why people get diagnosed, is you must have that diagnosis to have a treatment plan to be accurate and to be effective.
And when you talk about, an assessment that takes 60 to 90 minutes to complete, you need all of that information to move forward.
Yes, because it could be many other things going on with somebody, as well as just some recommendations. If you have ADHD, you may still need to exercise, or meditation may work for you, but you need all of that to make a diagnosis. We need to look at what happened with their family growing up, what was school like growing up, how was work. All of those factors move into a diagnosis.